We wanted to take a moment this morning to thank everyone for all the donations and help that we received on Monday. Thanks to donations of goods and funds throughout the community, we were able to gather 70,000 bottles of water, 12,000 pounds of hand sanitizer, baby formula, bottles, hygiene products, pallets of food, pet food, and countless other items. These goods came from all over North Georgia through help of the Fannin County Fire Department and private individuals. Officer Carter with the Fannin County Sheriff's Office was contacted by the FBI Safe Streets Gang Task Force that was volunteering in Black Mountain, North Carolina, and were in dire need of supplies for that community. We arrived at the Ingalls in Black Mountain, which had become a makeshift aid station. We were overwhelmed by the number of people that were waiting in lines to receive goods. When we arrived, we realized that the Ingalls did not have a forklift. Luckily, we had brought one. So we began not only unloading our supplies, but supplies other volunteers were delivering. Once this location was fully stocked, we were sent to another aid station in Montreat, North Carolina, just across the interstate from Black Mountain. Once both these aid stations were stocked, we made the decision to seek out others that were needing aid. We decided to link all of our trucks back together at an abandoned gas station just outside of Swannanoa, North Carolina. At this point, we realized that the roads were too dangerous to be driving around the large trucks at random. Luckily, at this moment, a volunteer group of sheriff's officers from all over the state of North Carolina arrived and pointed us in the location of a community desperately in need of help. At this point, we decided to send out one of our smaller trucks to scout ahead to see where we could get supplies to, where we were greeted by a group that were feeding a whole community. This group was cooking meals and had a makeshift grocery store that were giving out fresh produce and goods to whoever needed it. We realized that this would be another organization that we could help stock their shelves. This group was called Bounty and Soul, and they just happened to have a warehouse right across the street from where all of our trucks were parked. So we met up and everybody returned to that warehouse and started stocking their shelves. This is the point our day took a real unexpected turn. Upon returning to the Bounty and Soul warehouse, we met a group of victims and volunteers that were desperately trying to help their community. At this point, we decided to transfer our goods over to our smaller trucks and start going directly into the communities hit. They did not have vehicles to reach aid stations or means to walk there safely. This group led us into the hardest hit areas of Swannanoa, and the damage that we witnessed was overwhelming. Vehicles were stranded everywhere. National Guard trucks had been destroyed. The floodwaters had came in so fast that people could not escape. We cannot describe the damage and loss of life that we witnessed. There were entire neighborhoods of homes that were not damaged, not just destroyed, but were completely gone. The Red Cross and the National Guard were present in the area, and the amount of air traffic in the skies was probably more than cars on the road. But the damage was just overwhelming. There were mountain rescue teams from as far away as Peru. One thing we noticed is everywhere we went, there was people lining the streets, not asking for aid for themselves, but stuff to take to their neighbors. There were people on UTVs, ATVs delivering goods to elderly. Thanks to the group that was guiding us through the area, we were able to get goods to areas that had not been able to make it to aid stations, whole communities. We spent the rest of the day driving truckloads of aid to these neighborhoods that were in desperate need of it. This was all mobile homes that have been wiped out. We met utility contractors from as far away as Canada. These houses were completely underwater. What's hard to describe on camera is that this damage is not just what we're filming, it's as far as you can see through the woods in the background. Everywhere you looked, there were cars stuck in trees, tractor trailers in the woods, campers, motorhomes, trailers, homes, everywhere you looked. This area is about 1,000 feet after the Ingalls shipping facility in Swannanoa, headed into downtown. None of the homes you see in this area are supposed to be here. This was an all commercial area. This is just where the water left them. The amount of damage that we witnessed in these areas is unimaginable. They're going to need aid for a long time to come. There's going to be no jobs because there's no jobs to go to. It's just going to be cleanup for I don't know how long. Rebuilding complete infrastructure, power grid, water grid, gas mains, everything was tore out of the ground. The gas stations that we saw that the National Guard had gotten operational had lines miles long. Something that we noticed throughout the day was the amount of caring and compassion for others that we had witnessed. Groups that had lost their homes, that were more worried about helping their neighbors than helping themselves. Never once were we rushed for goods or had anyone taken advantage of the supplies. We had to force people to often take more than what they were willing to take because we didn't feel it was enough for their family. A random encounter with this family led to them escorting us for the entire day to neighborhoods they knew had not received aid yet because they could not reach the aid stations. They had cooked all their personal food and they had been feeding the community. When we left, we had to force them to take supplies for themselves because they were afraid someone else would need it more. This was a theme that we noticed all day. Someone else may need it more than I do. We wanted to say thank you to everyone that made this possible. Our community donated goods, funds, manpower to load trucks, and organize the aid. Thank you to Sisson DuPont and Carter, Sisson Log Homes, and GNR Construction for the equipment we needed to drop everything we had received. Thank you to the Fannin County Sheriff's Office and Fannin County EMS for all the help throughout the day. We were able to give supplies to 3 different aid stations as well as 3 different neighborhoods directly. It's amazing what our community was able to do after a few social media posts and 12 hours of work. Western North Carolina is going to need aid for a long time to come. There are no pharmacies for medication. We had children looking for inhalers, insulin, and other items for their family. We had multiple families asking us if we had any clothes with us because they had completely lost their home. All the clothes they had were the clothes on their back, no shoes. We were told there's a need for propane tanks, flashlights, batteries, lanterns. With this need, we're working right now to hopefully take another trip to the area as early as this weekend. We're taking hard good donations at Sisson DuPont and Carter, and I'll post a link to a Venmo account for monetary donations. We wanted to make this video to show our community directly where your donations and volunteer time went and the communities that it helped.